Why am I focused on creating posts that I have no idea how many people are actually going to see this or engage with it? And TLDR, it's not bringing in cash, it's not bringing in leads. Welcome to Side Note, the podcast, where we get real about what it takes to actually build something meaningful. I'm sitting down with power players and thought leaders to explore what makes us tick. From deep psychology to cosmic insight, from entrepreneurial wisdom to intuitive, divine feeling breakthroughs. Because success is about way more than what's in the business books. So join me for conversations that'll change the way you think about business, life, and everything in between. Marketing and what the heck purpose it serves. The word marketing gets a bad rap, and ultimately, marketing's job is to increase your visibility and bring in cash to your business. If it's not bringing in leads, clients, customers, you're just posting for funsies, and that sucks to hear. I know how hard it is to create content. I know how difficult it can be when you feel like you're posting into the void and not getting anything back. I also know that you can run your business off referrals and your network until the second year starts or the third year starts and your network dries up or word of mouth stops. And suddenly, yes, you desperately need marketing. I've seen it so many times. And this episode is going to be talking about the gaps that I see and really how to fuel your business, bring in cash, and crack the marketing code. Because I have worked with over 100 companies. I have worked with brands that are massive, like PayPal, Jameson Whiskey, Michelin Tires, and small scale, women who are just starting out, women who are in the middle, women who just crossed the 7-figure mark, 8-figure mark. I've seen this entire journey, but I really want to focus on those of you who have crossed the 100K mark, maybe 200K, maybe even 300K. But there's that next step. How do you make that jump? And that jump, there are two things that hold you back from leaping to the other side of that and getting to the next level. One, you know what I'm going to say, mindset, limiting beliefs. You know that. I did an episode with Chanel Jefferson, an artist who has a 300K art business, all about limiting beliefs. So I'll let that rest there. But it does underpin what we're going to talk about. The second thing is marketing. There's a lot of marketing advice out there that is a waste of your time. A lot of people are like, do a 30-day reel challenge or consistently post every single day, do ads, delegate more, bring on more people to create more content for you. The more content you create, the more people that will see your stuff. And I'm sorry to say that that is actually not true. I see a lot of people turn themselves into content creators and then they get burnt out and then they want to rip their business to shreds. But that's okay if you're frustrated or at that point because it just requires a step back. I got to this point in my business where I felt like too much of my time was going towards reviewing marketing content or creating, reviewing, and posting marketing content. I was like, wait a second. My genius is when I'm on a call with a client and I deeply know their business and I know them and I can see what's blocking them and I can communicate that in the right way or guide their thinking through something that's a little murky or advise them on marketing to help them break through. Why am I focused on creating posts that I have no idea how many people are actually going to see this or engage with it? And TLDR, it's not bringing in cash. It's not bringing in leads. To be honest, I felt a little hypocritical because marketing is a genius of mine. I got my undergrad in marketing at the University of San Francisco. I took classes from experts on marketing research, positioning, cultural marketing, expanding your business across geographic regions, advertising, events, even social media, because at the time, Twitter and Instagram were starting to come up. After that, I spent 12 years in marketing. And I still advise companies. So why couldn't I figure it out for myself? It was a really hard point to get to. And I felt like an imposter and I had imposter syndrome come up. But I had to remind myself of all the wins I had over time, all the evidence for why I am a marketing genius and how that's translated for clients. I had to remind myself, different moments where I'd be on a call with a client and then pop, an idea would come up. When it made sense, I would share that idea. And then boom, that idea brings in 100, 1,000 leads for that client. These little nuggets, these little pockets of moments where I'm really proud of what I do and that I actually am really good. But when it comes to my own business, it can be really difficult. And I find that my clients run into that same frustration. They're like, wait, I have this expertise. Why is it not being translated through my marketing, whatever that might look like, whether it's your website, social media, in-person events, speaking that you're doing, podcasts, there are tons of different marketing channels. Why can't I crack the code? So I took a step back and I got real with myself. And yes, I did look at the mindset stuff. I listed out my limiting beliefs. I listed out, okay, I think I'm keeping myself stuck because I'm making about what I made in my last job. So it feels like there's maybe some like money programming here. And then I busted through that. And then I was like, I'm missing my big idea. I'm missing the vision. It was one of the earliest lessons I learned in marketing. I was hired by a startup to basically own all of their launches. I helped them plan and write and scope their entire go-to-market for their rebrand and new products, new services, new partnerships. They did one with Yahoo Finance, which was really fun. But I learned early on, when you're doing messaging, for instance, it's not about the features. You don't say, oh, this is my machine. It does one, two, three. Or, I'm a coach and these are the topics that I coach on. It's so much bigger. It's about the greater vision. It's about the transformation. It's about the vision you have for your company in 5 to 10 years. So when I thought about it, it's like, I named my LLC Fig Coaching and Advisory because when I thought about my role and my purpose as a coach, it is very similar to a fig tree. It is inspired by this scene from The Bell Jar, written by Sylvia Plath, where she is at the base of a fig tree, and every branch is a different opportunity that she could potentially take. But over time, she gets paralyzed in this indecision, and she suddenly sees these leaves and trees fall away over time. And I saw my business as the inverse of that. I am the base and the roots, and I hold this space for women who have their own businesses. And every branch is like a business vehicle that these women are creating. And I'm helping nurture that and nourish them as the business owner to deliver that. And then through that, they're able to sprout all of these leaves and this abundant, fruit and really spread this light and love and grow so much bigger than my business. There are different layers of ripple effects here. I'm here to create massive impact and change through supporting and empowering and supercharging my clients, telling bigger stories, reaching farther, greater impact. That's why I'm here. That's why I do what I do. I had to take a step back to see that. There were a lot of psychological things in the way of me understanding and absorbing that story. But once I got there, it was like a weight lifted off my chest. And, when I talk about big ideas, another example of this is Dove. Decades ago, they hired, I think it was David Ogilvy, who's like a master at advertising, 50s, 60s, that kind of deal. And they're a bar of soap. So it's like, how do you sell a bar of soap differently than other bars of soap? And the team found that with Dove, their soap was creamier than other soaps. That's what people said. That was the feedback. And that was more than what the business really knew at the time. It's like, okay. So all of a sudden, that was the big idea for them. Now it sounds so simple, and there were many stories of them getting to that conclusion, but then now that big idea for them spans decades. We still see this in their brand. They have lots of products that are liquid soap, but it's like it has the feel of lotion, it hydrates your skin. And this big idea they landed on decades ago has grown their business, led to billions of dollars of revenue. And we still see it today in not just how they formulate their products, but also their marketing. Even when they did the campaign of, every body size and being more inclusive, which I loved, and it was very culturally relevant, which is another marketing lesson we'll get to later, probably another episode. There was still the imagery of the Dove soap and how creamy it was. It's like, it's something that just doesn't go away. It's a light bulb moment that you discover. And once you discover it, you have to hold on to that because that's what's going to keep your business alive and help it reach and resonate with the right people. That's marketing's job. I believe every business has their community of people out there, whether it's a community of clients or customers. Marketing's purpose is to help you bring those people in. Notice that I said bring them in because I believe that truly resonant marketing draws people into your business. It doesn't feel like this thing that you're flinging out or reaching, grasping for. It doesn't have that energy to it. It's more of a magnet. I'm doing a speaking gig for the Berkeley Coaches Conference in January, all about lead generation. And that's exactly what I'm talking about here. When we generate leads, it doesn't have to require this like slimy, salesy, outbound type dynamic. It can be like a magnet. You magnetize leads towards you. And then you have all these beautiful funnels and content and messaging that beautifully conveys what you do, why it's important, and that greater vision that brings them in. And then they get to experience that. And I work with businesses that truly believe in what they do, because that's when you start to create a community and what's called a marketing flywheel. A marketing flywheel, if you're not familiar, is pretty much what it sounds like. It's self-evident. It feeds into itself, right? So you have these people, they take notice of what you're doing. This vision, this greater idea resonates with them in some way, whether it's creamy soap or what's possible for their greater business impact. They come in, they become customers or clients. And then it's not like you just lose them after that. It's like they stay in your ecosystem because they've had a good experience. You believe in what they get. They believe in the value. They see it, they experience it, resonates, it drops in, they see the benefits, and then they become an evangelist. Then they continue on. Maybe you have a podcast. It's like you keep people in this ecosystem and have a community that then again further creates reach and impact on your behalf, which is really powerful. That's why the whole topic of community has been so massive over the last few years. Now we have lots of tools to have communities, and we can give back to those communities. We can run beta programs and get their feedback and do community only type things to keep them close to the business, because it's positive for both directions, not just for the business, but for them too. So how do we keep on keeping on with the value that we generate for people and keeping this truly beneficial relationship that's bi-directional going? So that's the marketing flywheel piece. Big idea, magnetizes people in, brings them into this marketing flywheel, and then suddenly you have these people who are increasing reach for you on your behalf. And then you really start to scale. Now, you don't need a community to scale, but you do need a flywheel, because that's going to be the biggest way that you're going to break through to 7 figures. eight figures, nine figures if you're gunning for that level. And maybe you're not, but a marketing flywheel is the thing to scale. But it requires, going backwards. It requires the big idea. It requires getting outside perspective and help. It requires looking at the mindset and limiting beliefs that might be blocking you from discovering it. This was a lot. If you want to dig deeper, I'm doing a free class called How to Scale the Conscious Path Past 500K. And we're going to be going more in depth. There are going to be prompts. It's going to be interactive. It's December 11th, Wednesday at noon Pacific. You can also sign up and get the recording. We're going to be going into even more, lots of stories to make this land, to help you discover what is this big idea for you? What can this flywheel look like for your company? And how do you make it easy? How do you orchestrate marketing so that it all feels fluid and seamless? So that you're not bogged down by just creating more content, ads, hiring more people, because that's not how you scale strategically. Those are quick wins. What we're talking about is true scaling that lasts, that's sustainable, that's going to allow you to have a business until you decide to exit. I could share more because I'm so excited for this masterclass. I'm packing so much into these 60 minutes. It's insane. Like, I'm truly pulling out the most impactful lessons for this group of women from my 12 years, from all of my experience in marketing, and from my own business. So attend, grab a spot. There will only be 100 spots, and signups are flying. So sign up. And if you do attend live, make sure you tune in maybe even a minute early in order to get a spot. There will also be a live bonus for attendees. So if you are selected, and there will be many that are selected who apply, you will get a free marketing audit across all of your channels, all of your marketing touch points, even your email, and you'll get a blueprint for 2025 that I hand create for you. I spend 5 to 20 hours on each one of these, and they're in depth, and that will be delivered to you by New Year's Day. And this is the best way to actually get an expert, like CMO level expert who has worked with huge brands, who agencies have paid a lot of money, but getting that service and support on your business. These reports are worth $2,500. Get there live, interact. I'm so excited to see you there. I'm so excited for this masterclass. With that, you can find me at growwith_Sam on Instagram. Thank you for tuning in to Side Note, and I will catch you soon.